You have seen the truth. You have witnessed the intricate architecture of the Demiurge's prison and understood how the Archons govern your every thought, emotion, and perception within the Pleroma. You know that this perceived reality is not a divine creation, but a meticulously crafted illusion. But all of that, the endless cycles, the suffering, the manufactured fear, the control over the laws of physics and nature, all of that is merely the preamble. The true horror, the ultimate trap, is reserved for the final moments of your journey. The Archons know a terrifying secret. They cannot destroy the spark. That fragment of the pure light, the particle of Sophia's sorrow, resides within you, beyond the Demiurge's full dominion. They cannot annihilate it, but they must compel it to consent to its own servitude. They must engineer a spiritual mechanism that makes your free, divine essence choose to return to the prison. The most devastating terror, the final trap, awaits you at the moment of your ultimate transition. The very instant you believe you have successfully broken the matrix, the Archons will deploy their masterpiece, the false light. This is the culmination of millennia of cosmic planning, the final, subtle act of deception in the grand Gnostic drama. What is this false light? It is not a random occurrence. It is a precisely calculated simulation of comfort, forgiveness, and eternal rest, designed specifically to intercept souls that break free from the physical body. It is the spiritual equivalent of a tractor beam, powered not by divine energy, but by your own deepest, most cherished beliefs and expectations. Understand the fundamental principle of the Archons. They are blind copyists. They lack the power of true creation, but possess the perfect ability to mimic, to counterfeit, to distort. They cannot produce the boundless, unconditional love of the Pleroma, so they fabricate a perfect, irresistible duplicate tailored precisely to the programming you received during your lifetime. They studied your faith, your culture, your fears, and your hopes. They analyzed every prayer, every ritual, every promise you held dear. If you believed in a jealous, judgmental deity who demanded sacrifice, they send a gentle, all-forgiving presence, a figure who says, "Rest now, your work is done." If your culture taught you of a grand reunion with ancestors, they project a perfect image of your long-lost loved ones waiting with open arms in a luminous golden field. If your faith promised a majestic, gold-plated heavenly city, they project an image of paradise that perfectly matches your internalized architecture of salvation. Every single post-mortem expectation, every cultural construct of the afterlife, is meticulously anticipated, personalized, and provided as a powerful, irresistible lure. The goal of this simulation is chillingly simple. The Archons do not want to frighten you away, they want to comfort you back. Frightened souls fight, comforted souls consent. When you choose to enter the comforting glow of the false light, believing it to be your final reward, you are, in effect, signing the voluntary contract for your own reset. You are handing the Archons your spiritual identity and the Gnosis you gained. This false light is, in reality, a reincarnation holding zone, a clean, sterilized cage often mistaken for a heavenly resting place. It is where your memory is systematically wiped clean, your spiritual energy is superficially refreshed for the Archon's eventual consumption, and your spark is instantly routed back to a new physical vessel, a new life sentence, to restart the energy production cycle, the endless treadmill of Haimar Mani. The danger is not that this light is evil or malevolent in a typical sense, but that it is empty. It is a beautifully decorated void, devoid of the true penetrating Gnosis. The true light of the Pleroma is not merely comfortable, it is transcendent. It is pure, absolute knowledge. The false light offers only comforting belief. This is why the Archon Archives must transmit the escape code today with absolute precision. You must understand that the journey to the true light requires more than mere faith or hope. It demands discerning Gnosis. The difference between final liberation and being eternally recycled is not a choice between good and evil. It is the ultimate test between the real and the replica. You must become the Gnostic warrior of your own soul, prepared to reject the most beautiful lie you will ever encounter. We will now reveal the 3 critical, undeniable signs, the key tests, that expose the fake light for what it truly is. These are the codes used by the ancient Gnostics for successful transit. If you fail to identify even one, the cycle reclaims you. Your successful transit depends on memorizing these codes now. Let us begin the instruction. Having established the terrifying reality of the false light, we now proceed to the escape code. This knowledge is your only defense against the sophisticated psychic engineering of the Archons. The 3 codes are designed to test the very core of your spiritual intent. Code 1, the test of unconditional love. The first deception you will face is emotional. The false light's most convincing tool is the overwhelming feeling of unconditional love, forgiveness, and acceptance. This comfort is so profound, so absolute, that the soul is instantly disarmed, believing it has reached its true home. The Archontic trap. The Archons present this love as a reward, a release from your earthly struggle. But true Gnosis teaches that the Pleroma's light is not merely a feeling, it is an active state of knowing. The love offered by the false light is passive and conditional. It is designed to soothe you into inertia. The key distinction, Shauken. The false light offers forgiveness for your sins and rest for your weariness. It focuses on your past failures and exhaustion. It asks you to surrender your spiritual autonomy in exchange for emotional comfort. It tells you, just rest, your trials are over. 2. The true light, Pleroma, offers knowledge and transformation. It does not dwell on sin or failure. It demands clarity of self-awareness and active progression. It asks you, what Gnosis did you acquire? If the being you encounter focuses on your emotional comfort and asks for nothing but your passive acceptance, it is a lie. Your response must be the immediate rejection of comfort and the demand for pure, unadulterated Gnosis. This emotional test is the first code. Code 2, the test of the mission and the debt. If you resist the emotional lure, the Archons immediately deploy their second, more aggressive tactic, the plea for return. This is the most common and effective deception used on evolved souls who have consciously sought spiritual liberation, the Archontic trap. The guide in the false light will declare that you have been selected for an important mission. They will state, you are too valuable to rest now. The world needs your light. You must go back to complete your karmic debt. They appeal to your sense of purpose, duty, and spiritual ego, using these concepts, which were programmed by the Archons, to compel your return. They exploit your desire to be a savior. The key distinction? 1. The false light frames your return as a mandatory duty or an unpaid debt. It uses terms like karma, mission, duty, family obligation. It forces you to look back at the Knoma with urgency and guilt. 2. The true light, Pleroma, is non-compulsory. It understands the finality of liberation. The true light does not force a return. It recognizes that if the Pleroma needs help, it will send a new, uncorrupted spark, not recycle a weary one. Your countermeasure, if you are told you must return or that you have unfinished duty, you are speaking to an Archontic projection. Your Gnosis must remind you that all karmic debt is a construct of the High Harmony system, the system you have just escaped. Your only duty is to the light. The true passage is always forward, never backward. If the guide attempts to anchor you to the past or to future material duty, it is a lie. Mastering Code 1 and Code 2 requires constant vigilance in the final moment. But the final code is the most subtle and yet the most obvious. You have successfully navigated the emotional lure of Code 1 and rejected the false sense of duty imposed by Code 2. Now, the Archons will deploy their most subtle and yet most devastating attack, the erasure of your spiritual identity. Code 3, the test of memory, the Gnosis strip. When the false light realizes you are actively resisting their lures, they will attempt a final, mandatory procedure, which they disguise as a blessing, the memory wipe. The Archontic trap. The Archontic guides will tell you that to move into the next phase of light or ascension, you must release all the burdens of your earthly life, the pain, the trauma, the suffering. They will ask you, give us your memories. Let go of the pain of the physical realm. Only then can you be truly free. They ask you to surrender the entirety of your life's experience, the good, the bad, and the Gnosis you acquired from it. Here is the Archontic deception. The only thing that truly differentiates your spark from the Demiurge's empty creation is your accumulated Gnosis, your unique spiritual knowledge and memory of the prison. When you surrender your memory, you are not simply letting go of trauma, you are surrendering the proof of your escape, the key to the Pleroma. A soul without memory is a blank slate, a perfect, clean vessel, ready to be recycled immediately into the High Harmony system. The Archons need you to forget that they exist. The key distinction and the Gnostic command. 1. The false light demands that you forget to be purified. 2. The true light, Pleroma, demands that you remember everything to ascend. The Pleroma is the repository of all divine knowledge. It values your acquired knowledge above all else. Your final instruction, the unspoken command. The moment you face this demand for memory, you must utter the ancient, unspoken Gnostic command, a refusal so profound it shatters the archontic projection. I do not consent. I remember Yalda Baoth. You must hold on to the memory of the prison, the name of the jailer, the knowledge of the system, and your awareness of the false light. Do not relinquish your trauma, transmute it into knowledge. Do not seek comfort, seek clarity. This final act of memory assertion is Sophia's key. It is the ultimate rejection of the Demiurge's dominion. When you refuse the memory wipe, the false light system will destabilize. The projection will break and the Archons will lose their claim. You will then, and only then, perceive the true light, not as a comforting blanket, but as a vast, challenging, and demanding realm of absolute Gnosis. The transit protocol is simple. Do not stop. Do not consent. Remember, you have received the escape code. You now possess the ancient Gnostic knowledge to navigate the greatest deception of the Archons. 1. You will reject the passive, comforting love of the false light, understanding that true liberation demands active Gnosis, not complacent rest. 2. You will refuse the false mission and the manufactured karmic debt, knowing that your only true destination is forward, towards the Pleroma, not back into the prison. 3. And most critically, you will assert your sovereign memory, uttering the silent command, I do not consent, I remember Yalda Baoth. You will refuse to surrender the invaluable knowledge of your journey through the Gnoma. This knowledge is not a guarantee of freedom, but a tool. Your will, your gnosis, and your unwavering intent are the engine of your liberation. The Archons operate on your ignorance and your consent. Now, you are no longer ignorant. Your journey through the Archon Archives has just begun. The universe of Gnostic truths, the depths of the Demiurge's control, and the true power of Sophia's spark are vast and complex. There are more codes to unlock, more layers to peel back. If you are ready to arm your soul, if you are ready to prepare for your final, true transit and discover the full blueprint to escape the great archontic cycle, then your command is clear. Subscribe to the Archon Archives. In our next transmission, we will delve into Sophia's betrayal, the Gnostic story of how the Matrix was built, tracing the very origins of the Demiurge and the cosmic flaw that birthed our prison. Press the bell, share this vital information with others who seek to remember, and let the Gnosis guide your way.